Now our next project is to make a replica of this tank. We're going to pull this apart. We've got, I think we're up to about 4.5 gallons. I have to look at the notes. Pull this apart, get the tank out. This is one that has a tiny leak somewhere, I don't know where, but I want to look at it. I want to make a replica, so of course the easiest way is to just take this out of the plane for now so I can get the length exactly right, the height and the shim. All should be exactly the same when I'm done. One of the things we've improvised, because we've been changing the tank and shimming it, and you can see there's about 72 64th plywood shims on this tank, but we do have it exactly where we want it. Now because we're going to make another tank exactly like this, I want to keep the shims and hopefully not have to go back and reshim it. But this saves me a lot of things. I don't even have to cut the zip tie in the back. I just take the whole unit out. I don't even take the bolts out of their place. Pull it off to the side, and that tank comes right out. There's no tubing going to the vents or anything. It's very easy to get, totally bulletproof, get the tank in and out. And even if you get it in too tight, you can kind of maneuver it through this aluminum, I'll call it a cap for lack of a better word, just because it's easy to get it in and out. It's certainly a lot quicker taking this tank in and out than the traditional tanks. Just one little tip we learned. Pull the hardware out, and again, I've checked this for leaks and I can't find the leak. And the only way I suspected it leaked is because at the very end, a couple of gallons into this, I couldn't get the last little air in. It had the look of it was bleeding air. Now I don't know until I hear from Dub if that's the case or if I'm just daydreaming or what, but in either case it wouldn't matter. It ran. The point is here, even with that little, if there is a little hole in it, and it could be from the rough edges on the carbon, a little piece of sanding dust, it could be anything. It's certainly better if you can use the plastic tanks the way Dub sells them, but I can't get that in the plane. That's the problem. So if you were to build this box so you could fit a normal tank in there, well, a normal bubble-free tank, that would certainly save a lot. Now the reason we want to have this one, I want to practice again and make a complete copy of this, an exact copy. Then this can then be the spare tank. The advantage of that is the one that's going to work the better of the two is probably going to wind up going in Miss Ashley and going into our #1 competition ship. So, without further ado, and I've done it on camera, so I'm just going to do it off camera now, I'm going to make another copy of this tank, and then we'll hopefully by the end of this day have one more of the spare parts that we need in our inventory for the competition season that's coming up. And so off camera we made up an exact copy of, I haven't even flipped the tubing on this yet, and then this will now be our secondary tank, assuming we're going to get some test flights on this either tomorrow or later on in the week or whenever. I was real careful when I assembled this to make sure inside it didn't have any rough spots. That maybe what put the little pinhole in this. If that's the case, and I don't know that that's the case, it just may be or maybe not, I'm not sure. So now it's just a question of reassembling it, not changing any of the shims, and we'll be right back where we start. Well, we'll be ahead because now we have a part. And one of anything, in the competition stunt plane, at least in my planes, one of anything is useless. You break it, it leaks, something happens, day's over. A spare part for everything in a plane that traditionally needs maintenance, what a great idea. On today's mail, adding to my collection, this is from Walter Emland. Walter's been buying me B-25 things. I'm going to look like a B-25 by the time we get to the Nats. This is one of the nicer ones. Walt, you are okay. I don't care what Bob Lampione says about you. We will be seeing you at Brodax. Hey, appreciate it a whole lot, Walt. We got some stuff from Pat Johnson here, too, some nice pictures. Let me share these with you. Semi-Scale Man Supreme. Now, this is Pat Johnson's latest effort. And I'm going to read his note. It's an improved version of the P-40K Mark II. It has an inch deeper fuselage, lowered wing, 1 inch of dihedral. Take apart construction. Sato 56, look like he's got the thing from the Al Raby video, which is cool, showing the little ribs inside and everything. 700 square inches, 64 ounces, that's a good weight. All Brodac dope. Well, Pat, you've outdone yourself. This is a beauty. I always liked the shark mouth, even on that Spitfire that I did. Anyway, from Pat Johnson, who's been a major help to us in copying plans for us and doing drafting over the years. That is a beautiful model. Appreciate a whole lot, Pat. Now we're going to get old Strega put back together here and hopefully get it out in the driveway and test run it. Now this is the brand new one. We sent the other one back to Dub to look at to see if he could determine what the cause of the leak was, and of course the nice news, as always, is it doesn't even matter if it leaks. Those couple of laps at the end, it's not even close to being as bad as a standard tank, so who would even care? But that's just one more piece of information we've put into our little database. I'm not sure I got this up over the lip. Ready to go outside. Now, of course, I'd want to pressure check it. Pressure check it meaning fill in the tank, evacuate in the air a few times, and we're ready to go to the field. Look at this now. I'm just laughing about this. He thinks he's sitting on eggs. Chicky, are you sitting on eggs? This is a VCR controller, not eggs. See, we're not sure if Chicky's a male or a female. Maybe he's a female because they look the same.
We're just going to let that dry with it.
Maybe he thinks he's having babies here or something. I'm not sure.
If we put it this way, so
I'm not sure, Chicky.
Inside the tank. So make sure that's
I'm not sure, baby.
Before I go to the next step.
I went down to Ron's hobby shop, our local hobby shop, and I bought some things that I thought would be helpful in working on the B-25 since I'm going to be making up the tanks. We're going to be making up a separate set of tanks here very soon. But what I found at his hobby shop was this nice little pair of forceps. See, for the B-25, I'm going to need to get into the cowl somehow and pinch that off. And these aren't, the other ones are, well, let's just compare. Well, they're 3 times the size, so. But I noticed these, like all forceps, these have a sharp edge that I've worn out, actually, in time. And these have a razor sharp edge. So what I'm going to do is just grind some of this off and just try to make it just a little bit smoother here. Take that. Because we're going to be pinching fuel lines, I'm assuming, for a long time to come. And we got to find, if somebody knows where they sell them, some forceps maybe that they use for in hospitals that don't have any teeth on them. That would even be better. But even a little tip like this will be an upgrade over what we have. So far we haven't pinched a fuel line, but a nice little accessory for our bubble jet tank adventures. Well, because we're going to do some maintenance on this, one of the things that got annoying the other day, and we've been running this on the ground and trying to synchronize things, and I've just basically given up on, there's just air in the fuel tanks, and I'm going to be making up some bubble jet tanks. But one of the things that, and Tom's going to try to retrofit the smaller carburetors on here, which should tame it down a little bit too. It's just very overpowering. When both of those engines are running at 11 grand, it just, I guess the resonant vibration is really like 22,000. But one of the things that in looking at this and trying to evaluate it, I realized the last time I ran it, I didn't get all the fuel out. And it's too big. It's not like an ordinary plane where you can just hold it in one hand and defuel it. Well, yeah, you can't do that. So to get the fuel out, because I'm going to be doing maintenance and changing the tanks and stuff, I thought one of the things that would be worthwhile is figuring out how to go about defueling this. Well, I have these little nails hanging on a ceiling, or up near the ceiling, and I better find one that's plenty strong, because then the plane will be hanging so all the fuel will run into the corner of the tank and I can just siphon it out. But that was something I hadn't thought of in the course of doing this maintenance. And every time you do something maintenance on this, it's just like double the maintenance. So it's really a good idea to figure out the easiest way of doing a lot of these routine things. Now, when we have the bubble jet tanks in here, of course, defueling the plane will be done. Just suck it out, done. Well, until then, we're going to have to live with this very cumbersome and awkward, if you don't get every drop of fuel out. Now, there's another thought here. When you're flying a Zetron plane, every time you land, there'll be fuel in the tanks. So by thinking this thing through now, it hadn't dawned on me till just recently, it's going to be important. We land the plane, there might be 1.5 ounces, 2 ounces of fuel in each tank. At the end of a flying day, what I would do with the Typhoon, it was pretty easy. I'd just fly the last flight out and then just land it, let the motor run out of fuel. Well, I don't want to do that because one engine will probably, unless I'm really lucky, still have fuel. So the answer would be, at the end of the day, because I'll have bubble tanks, just siphon them out like you're going to fuel them, but don't fuel them. And they'll be perfectly dry all the time. So I don't know. There's a lot of little pluses and minuses to these tanks. And little by little, I'm trying to maximize the use of all this technology so that in the future, and believe me, I have plans for this plane for years to come. Lots of different things I want to try, and that's why I'm being a little cautious and not trying to jump off a cliff here. We've lost the field already, so it doesn't even matter. Realize this has another value. There's probably going to be some maintenance. And in this case, I'm draining the tanks, getting all the fuel out of the tanks. Just another thing that I hadn't thought of. For instance, if I'm working on a motor and I don't want to turn it over, I want to work on this side or something. Well, it's a shame I can only do this one way, but still one way is better than no ways. So this gives us one more time while we're doing maintenance to come up with some kind of a little improvement. Now, one of the things we can get rid of is all this tubing, all these extra vents can go. I bet we're going to save a 1/2 ounce of tubing and vents once we get the bubble tanks installed. One of the things I want to do, well, I have a little shop time. I'm just checking the clearance I have. I need to open up the cowls so that I can get air filters on here. Whether we use these carbs or the smaller ones, it looks like I'm going to want to have the air filters. It should make it a little bit easier to choke, but I need to look at how much I'm going to have to cut off the cowl to do that. That's one of the next things I need to look at. Hey, what's this? What's this? Checking out a windy video here? Hey, you want to go live in Houston? He's bored with windy videos. Kind of don't blame you, Chicky. Anyway, we're going to take the cowls, try to get this fit. Now, just think of all the plumbing you don't need. If we get the bubble tanks, this can go, you don't need an overflow. This can go, you don't need a pressure line. We get rid of all this tubing, can take this vent out of the side. I think we're going to have we're certainly going to look at what the possibilities are, and I'm not sure what they are. But because we have good access to Dub's technology and some of the people that have been willing to help out with this project, Tom and Bob Zambelli, we're going to definitely not rush this part of it. So next thing is I want to get these, like the cowl openings for these. Now, after I put this all together, it's really apparent how much I'm going to have to cut away, but I'm not going to be able to get it as far out as I want because I don't want to weaken the cowl here. So I'm just going to open this up using my template. I need to be able to get in it, obviously, and choke it. And this is a problem. This is probably something I should have done right in the beginning, is allow for the air filter, and if you don't use it, okay, but after the B-25 is out of the barn, it's easy to criticize. That circle template I interpolated, see, I can't make it exactly the way I want because I don't want to get this front real paper thin. I'll just interpolate that curve in there. And that would be relatively convenient to get a choke on that. And now, of course, because it's the joy of twin engine modeling, just have, hey! Off of that plane. Look at this. Get out of there! We'll just repeat the same for the other side. And that'll give us the option of using or not using the air filters. And I'm looking at this, see, I'm just holding this on by hand. Probably get a little piece of carbon fiber in at that little joint there. Carbon fiber reinforcement there, that's, see if I get up to the light here, you can see it. Well, that completes the little work we're going to do on it today. Once we get rid of all these fuel and overflow lines with the bubble-free tanks. Bubble jet, bubble-free, bubble gum. Boy, I don't know what we're talking about anymore. Anyway, it is always a pleasure at the end of the day to just sit and look at it from a lot of different angles. I guess that's part of the thrill or the joy of modeling. At least it is for me. And tomorrow's the day we have to take the field, take all the barrels off the field, and boy, not looking forward to that. That's going to be a long day tomorrow. You'll notice tires are walking all over the field. What they've done is all the tires we used to use at the field, as we're dismantling the field, it's an unflyable day. And Rich flipped his stuka over and busted a rudder and a wheel pan. What we've done is we've turned it into a tire rolling contest, and you can see the guys are all over here. There's tires everywhere. Oh! First guy to hit the fence wins. Buys breakfast. Oh, there goes another one. You can tell this club is comprised of a lot of Rhodes scholars. Oh man, I'm out of breath laughing at this. Anyway, this is the end of the field, 40 year, and unfortunately we never got to, we would not have been able to fly to B-25 today anyway. It's a hurricane blowing. One of the bad things that happened is poor Richard here, I guess we're not going to get it on video, he decided to take a flight today, even though the winds were blowing. You can see the windsock. And landed, flipped the plane over, did a little damage to the rudder, broke a $50 prop, chewed up the wheel pants. And so what we're going to do is when we go back to the shop, we're going to do a little repair for him. He's in a bad mood, so we're going to make him buy breakfast. And I think he's doing this for I think he wants sympathy votes or something. But anyway, that's the nice thing. Here's the guys we just ripped the field down, and we got a little repair to do. All part of model aviation. Part of being in a good club. All good things with a confession. Rich is going to confess. Dear God, I should not have been flying this morning. So, where's the wheel pants? We're going to have to do a little minor repair on this.
Where's your towel?
Here, right here. Towels are right under here. Let's see how much damage. He did the wheel pants, the rudder. You know, you're lucky you did the prop, but you didn't glue the cowling. If you had a two-blade, you'd be putting a... See, now look, we're going to cut this. You don't try to glue this.
This prop was running so well, too, you know?
A little bit, I'll fix it. This we're going to grind that much off the prop, of course. You can't... Yeah, but and I don't like putting glue in it.
It's going to be undersized.
No. Well...
It's going to be thin at the tips, and it might work a little worse, you don't know.
Take the prop off. Jimmy can start balancing the prop if he wants to play.
I did bang up the cowl.
Not bad, not bad. You're going to paint a yellow stripe?
No, I don't want to paint the yellow stripe on the front.
What? What? You hear this arrogance?
You think you're getting out of here without a yellow stripe on this plane?
Yeah, but if you paint now, you know.
Where's the rest of the parts? Did you get all the parts?
Yeah, here it is.
Okay. Put all the parts up together. Take the prop off the plane while I'm fooling around with that.
Son of a bitch.
Rich.
The bird's sick. Don't hurt the bird.
Yeah, don't hurt the Chickie's sick. Where is Chickie?
Why? What's wrong with him?
I think he hurt his foot. He's like he's sitting down all the time. Maybe he's roosting. I don't know. Checking you out. It looks good with retracts. Too bad Stukas didn't have retracts.
That's right.
Except this one. Now, the lesson of the day is when it's really too windy to fly, what are we going to do next time? We're not going to fly when the wind blows 60 miles an hour. Even Stukas are grounded, right, Rich?
Obviously.
Of course. Yeah, at least we got the field done today. What a day. Now, if we had the B-25 there this morning, you know what, Jimmy? It would never have come out of the car. So, live to fight another day.
Is this cleaner?
Now, what we did, we took the parts that needed to be repaired, kind of glued them together like this. So now all the parts are repaired. Now he's taken coats of thick CA. Show me the front of that where you put all the little pieces. And you can't feel that at all, can you? That's just like it's a composite part. And then he's going to take it home. We got to do his rudder. The rudder took a beating.
Scraped up.
And we got to make him a modified prop, highly modified. Maybe this will be the secret prop of the century. When you go to fly on a windy day, the prop will say, "Oh, Rich, don't fly today. It's so windy."
I'm having more modified props than regular props.
Yeah, well, okay. And that's ready for a coat of Brodak primer, some silver, and just repaint it. Couldn't be any better.
Yes, it could have been better.
Yeah, if you didn't. Well, today we got a lot of nice pictures in the mail here. These are from John Ashford. He lives in Pampa, Texas. They must really like Pampa, I don't know. John, it's just a club. Anyway, this is his Hurricane, and we've seen this on the, he sent us pictures of this before, but it's a beautiful plane. Now, he's got some video here, and he's really looking to upgrade his finishing, he's going to work on a Brodak Cardinal soon. So we expect soon we'll have some pictures of that effort. Got some combat jobs here. I guess this is from a recent meet. And some pictures. There's one picture here I really love. Some of the combat jobs. Marvin Denny helping some juniors. Marvin, of course, has been up to our club more than once, I think. I love this picture. Now check this picture out. And of course, he had something that I think is really appropriate in this, and it almost brought tears to my eyes here. He's lost 9 friends since August 23rd of last year, which is about the number that I'm up to. From Joe Ortiz to my mom, Ed Southwick and his wife, and boy, the list just goes on and on. It's not pleasant for any of us, that's for sure. But anyway, this is the picture I love. Let me just put this right by my desk. That is an excellent thought. An excellent thought. Anyway, from John Ashford, we hope he enjoys. We're going to send him some pictures of the B-25. Maybe he'll be looking at those pictures and be inspired to go bomb Tokyo or something. I'm not sure. I'm not sure we're going to bomb Tokyo here, the way things are going. But anyway, the flying season is ready to start. We have a million. Well, it's amazing how many things there are to do in this shop. I wish I didn't have to sleep. And thanks again to John Ashford. Now, after many, I think we're working on this about 4 weeks already, we finally finished our planting. And believe me, one of the things I really enjoy, Karen and I both enjoy, is working on our backyard. And I wanted to walk around, just give you an idea of just how much. We're not going to go flying until tomorrow, or even work in the shop. This is Memorial Day weekend. We got all our little plants in, all around the back of the pond here. Every once a year I try to walk around, because I love to share this with people. Karen puts a lot of work and a lot of energy into this, designing it and planting, and all the little flowers we have, and our little arbor here with wisteria growing. One of the things we really totally enjoy. And of course our koi pond, where we've just given birth to I think the 7th or the 8th generation of baby fish that are down in there. And this morning we even had a baby grackle taking a bath in the waterfalls here, so that was a lot of fun. We came running out, we had breakfast out here. And there's a baby grackle taking a free bath in the Windy and Karen Pond. It was a lot of fun, and it's one of the things, beside working on the B-25, we really enjoyed. And of course, I've kind of resigned myself to the fact that, we're going to make up the bubble jet tanks before we even try to fly it. We just didn't have any luck at all synchronizing the carbs. The air bubbles in there are just unbelievable. So rather than fooling around, and the cure would have been to change props or to do other things like that, or try to deal with residents some other way. Well, there's always one better way. Just get rid of the air. I think that'll be a much better cure. We added a new little section of the garden this year, a part we never had before. We have some new flowers, some little different plantings. This is all new from this year. It's in the corner of the front of our house, so if you're coming to stay in a Spitfire bedroom and hang out with us and have pizza with us, just look for the little garden with the little white fence and a little wagon in front. Now, it's hard to believe. We've been in this house 9 years. We've done a lot of work to try to make it a home and make it a Spitfire bedroom and make it a whatever it is we made it, but I always feel like I'm just very lucky to be alive, very, very lucky to have the good life that Karen and I do share, and lucky to be living in America and living in a great time to be alive. I guess it's a great time to be alive, even if you're a fish. Sometimes we just sit in the backyard and watch the variety of birds. We feed the birds, of course. Most of them, they just don't seem to get it, though. As I say this, I see it's my lovable daughter coming here with her lovable husband. What are you guys doing? And of course, who likes the backyard the most of all? Go flying! I go flying anytime I want. Who needs to build those crazy planes? I go flying anytime I want. The Chickadee Air Force. Now today we've entered the wonderful part of the season that that comes every year. We don't have the field in Palisade Park anymore, but we do have the wonderful Garden State Circle Burner field, and one of the things, early in the morning like this, really, there's nobody here, so I get a lot of testing done without a lot of background noise. Now you can tell because we have 3 circles that on the weekend it'd be impossible to test things. You can't hear a motor run, you can't hear a tank shim, you just go crazy. So what I do is I try to get as much of the time that I spend to do the testing with little or as little as possible background noise, just cars going by. Now we have the number 2 tank in here. It's not really finally shimmed yet. We did get the number 1 shimmed. We returned that to Dub for just for checking. It was running fine. It did have a tiny leak, or supposedly, maybe he'll find that it was me. And my feelings are not hurt. I'm trying to learn here. But what I want to do is I want to get my square one here. Now when we move to this field, and you can see that it's all surrounded by trees, we're in a bowl, we're in a cereal bowl. The props that work out at Rich's Field in Palisade Park, absolutely useless here. The props that we need to look at, usually I have them marked, and I have several of them. Usually we'll wind up with more pitch, more diameter, just a bigger drive ratio here. So that's one of the things we're going to try to do today. We also want to practice, and I've been practicing several things with filling the jet tanks. I know that's going to be something I write about in Stunt News soon, and I want to do go through my two-bladed props once or twice just to verify I haven't missed one of the real good ones. Eliminate this and boil this down to maybe 3 or 4 props. And by the end of this day, well, hopefully be doing some test flying. Doing some, you're not going to do, see, because we have no wind at all today. It's kind of dead. And what air there is, this would be a foolish day to come over here and try to hit wing over pullouts or low bottoms or something, but it's an excellent day for testing because we have nobody here, so far anyway. And we'll be able to hear the results of each thing we do. Prop that we finally liked the best at Rich's Field, especially in the wind, this was a real good one, was the 12.6 Medusa prop, but it's been repitched. And so it's really not a 12.6, it's probably a 12.4.5 or something like that. But we know we'll take a flight on this. I won't even do it on camera because you know this is going to be wimpy. This is going to be wimpy, but I have the same prop with just a little more pitch. So what I'm going to do is change the prop before we even get started here because we do have limited time and I do want to burn a gallon of fuel. Now this is what's really good about having a reliable, I should say reliable, test plane. Nice old guy that we can cut holes in and drill holes in and not worry if it's nose heavy or tail heavy or whatever. Here's the other advantage is when you want to test things, this plane is really draggy and heavy relative to the competition plane. So anything that really works on here is going to work even better. Once we get it dialed in on this plane, it'll be like swinging that proverbial bat and not having to carry a heavy load. Let's just see roughly how much pitch change we have here. Quite a bit. So we know this is the low pitch one, number 1. I mark each one just for my reference, even though these props are exactly the same. That's number 1, that's number 2. Not sure you'll see it on the video, but number 2 is pitched more for a field like this where there's more pitch. Runway air, when you're at the Nats, that's when you can run the lowest amount of pitch, the lowest amount of power, the lowest amount of everything. When you get to these bowl fields like this, then you need to, and see what's good is knowing ahead of time. A lot of guys come here, just to make an example, they fly on an open air field, oh boy, get everything dialed in. Now they come to our contest in June, which is coming up soon, or Brodax, where the air is a little bit different, where you're in kind of a bowl, and they're shocked. Oh my God, my engine's not working. Oh, my tank's not charged. They're crazy. It's nothing like that. It's the conditions change. And I like to know a little bit ahead of time when these conditions change, just how I'm going to deal with them. And I've been able to do that, fortunately, at many new locations where I go. Like typically I don't get to practice at all for the Brodax meet, or very little because we're shooting video. But the advantage is if you know ahead of time you need more pitch, well, you may as well get the props ready before you even go to the contest. Quickly, as I run a flight or 2 on each one of the props, I put them in the box of the ones that I've eliminated. So I want to wind up with maybe 2 or 3, maybe not even 2 or 3, maybe just 2. One with a little extra pitch and load and one with a little less pitch and load. But what that allows me to do is now I'll know ahead of time. For instance, we get to the circle burner meet, Middlesex, the mass cut meet, and all of a sudden we're under these conditions. Well, I kind of in the back of my mind, actually I don't even have it in my mind, it's in my little notes that I keep in the van, what prop worked under what condition. And by the way, I noticed that Todd Lee is real meticulous about doing exactly the same thing. He keeps a log of every one of his changes, which is a real neat thing to do. I think Joe Adamusco does something similar to that too. I've had, and believe me when I tell you, I've had a lot of, I'll call them adventures with this jet fuel, basically because I didn't read the direction, I didn't have the directions in the beginning. Then after I had them, I kind of try to improvise things. The only thing I've found that for me made it a little easier was not using the filter. I put the filter on the plane. It just made it a little bit easier, but again, I fill it right to the middle of the 2 T's. Then I suspect sooner or later I'll have almost all the planes retrofitted with these tanks. Now, one of the reasons I wanted to get more time on these tanks is this is the system I'm going to put in the B-25 before I even fly it. I'm going to have 2 of these tanks made up for the size that fit in the B-25. I'm not even going to try to run those tanks. I had so much trouble synchronizing a the two motors and air bubbles coming up. And the air bubbles were only there when both motors are running. So what? I don't know. I think this is just making it a lot easier for me. Deal always is here. I break this at the back of the filter. The tube from the fueler goes over the tubing going to the tank. And step one is to pull out all the air. And this can be anywhere from 15 seconds to 20 seconds to a minute to however long, depending on how much air is in the tank. Now you can see air bubbles are coming up there every time I increase the pressure on the other end. And I've just learned to be a little patient right at this point, let the bubbles. Les came up with this thing of just working the bubbles up there if you're getting lazy, and I am lazy. Put a little more pressure on it. You can see even more. At some point in time, there'll be very tiny, almost none or none. Now, if we had a person here to hold the nose up in the air higher, that'd be cool. But I thought of a way I could do it is just make two foam blocks to put under the gear, but what it does, it just lets you get out one little tiny amount of air that's almost insignificant. And we do get about 3 laps at the end of the pattern at a fast, so. Now what happened one time, I got right to this point here, and I was showing somebody else how to use this. And I pinched it off, disconnected it, tried to start the engine. Well, nope, doesn't work that way. You've got a fuel plane. Now you can just release the pressure, and at some point in time, you'll feel the resistance. It's pretty definitive when you feel it. In my case, I might have put too much pressure on that first tank, but even with that first tank, when it had the pinhole, it ran fine. I just had those extra laps at the end. So it really wasn't a big deal. Now at some point right there, I know the tank is full. It feels kind of hard. Now I back out one of these increments, which I think is about 1/4 of an ounce or something like that. Okay, now I can pinch this tubing off, get rid of the fueler, and watch what happens. When you let this go, it'll release the pressure. And that's all I need. I just want it dripping. I don't want like fuel injection. Pinch that off. Hook the filter back up. Now usually if the motor's warm, the start is very predictable. Sometimes when it's cool like this, it's less than predictable. Eliminating these props one by one. What I'm seeing here is the same scenario that I go through every year, is the props that work at this field, and I've got them marked with a G. They all seem to penetrate a little bit better than the ones that aren't marked with a G. G meaning the Garden State Circle Barn field. I also, just for fun, I always keep this prop. Now this one is really about a 6 pitch, just for laughs. I like to see if I want to fly a plane at 70 miles an hour. Even though I've de-pitched this many times, this is a one-of-a-kind prop. I don't know how many of these there even are. But one of the things that, if all else fails, you can put this prop on a plane and fly 80 miles an hour. But that's not what we're trying to do. Now, as I get through, I'm pretty happy with both of these. The one volley and the number 2. Both of them penetrate well at the field. Both of them I'm getting decent runs. And what I wanted to try to do today, but the air is just crazy here. It's so hot too. It's about 80 degrees. I wanted to get a couple of flights on tape so the Dub could look at them. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to get to do that until we get a little breeze or something that'll make it realistic. But we are getting plenty of time getting used to the fueler, the tank, the characteristics of the tank. And this tank is, again, until I get a couple of gallons on it, I just get a little weird. I'm not familiar with it. After a gallon or so, it gets to be my friend, and then I'm comfortable with the fueling procedure already. Comfortable that we have a couple of good props. And the next thing is, and of course we want to do it before we retrofit the B25, we want to come up with a little better system here of an on-off valve and maybe a T-fitting. I've already bought the T-fitting. Wes Demit's been thinking about some of the possibilities. So that's one of the other things we're going to work on in the next couple of days. But so far I would say that most of what we're doing here on a test day, we're relearning the lessons of last year. Now when I got back from the field today, I had shot on a separate tape for Dub to look at a whole series of flights from rich runs, lean runs, so he could kind of look at them. I'm going to put one on just to show what a representative run of that we accomplished today with the tank. The most important thing was to, in my opinion, is to figure out the fueling procedure, and that's already done, and some of the other little idiosyncrasies of the thing that I want to address. But so far, I want to give you an idea of what the runs are like. They're pretty good so far, and I'm looking forward to getting them eventually getting it into the B-25, of course, and of course, getting it once we have totally resolved what we're going to be doing in terms of an on-off switch or a T-fitting or whatever, get one in this Ashley before we actually get the flying season. So let me get one of these flights from today on video. See how these tanks are working. in today's mail, we got some real nice pictures from Steve Kocher. Pictures of his Cascade 545. It's his first scratch-built stunner, built from plans that he bought from me back in 1992. Now, Steve basically is saying he had to have Big Art make up a special muffler for his Tiger 46. It had some unusual hole mounting pattern. I can't tell by the photo, but anyway, one thing, the model looks great, Steve. Nice paintwork. I'll send one of these into Stunt News. Send them both into Stunt News. And I appreciate the pictures. Now we got another set of pictures here. This is from our good friend Milt Graham. Milt, of course, is the one that had an unfortunate accident testing a motor, breaking a motor in. You'll notice this is a nice set of pictures. He's been using a Sato 72, and he says that basically the power and the cornering capability are beyond his wildest dream. He has also he's going to look to get another 72. I've been trying to talk him out of buying a 91 if he doesn't want to have a throttle control. Of course, if you have a throttle control, then it's a whole different ballgame. Anyway, let me run through these pictures. There's some real nice ones. This is the Backfire 2 and the Backfire 3. Number 3 is much lighter. Little photo, and Milt is one of the very meticulous builders. If you look real close at the woodwork, you can see how meticulous this is. Wingtip detail. I like that. The way he's got the lead outs in, they're very nice. Notice how thick the airfoil is, and that obviously is one of the contributing factors to some real good performance. I'm a big believer in thick wings anyway. Thick wings and big motors. Nice crutch detail. Now, I'm not surprised because Woody Midgley, by the way, this week called me to tell me that he's been flying our carbon fiber wing plane, the original test plane, the carbon copy, with 72 now, and he said he'll never take it out. He loves it. He just can't believe how much power it has, how steady it runs. And he's having fun with the electric starter. He loves not having to start the motor. Nose detail. Again, this is a view I like. Again, there's a lot of people working with Satos, a lot of people working with other various 4-cycles. Pat Johnson's working with a 4-cycle. It's funny, his caption here is no cooling problems. Neither, I guess not. Removable tail wheel, removable rudder. Nice little detail touches. He calls the plane the Backfire. That's the Backfire 2. Backfire 2 minus the covering. It looks like in these photos he's working his way up to silver. Got everything backmasked. Canopy detail. Trying to keep these in sequence. The sequence Milt sent them in. Now see, Milt's still using newspaper. I kind of like the tin foil method, but obviously they both work. And it shows that one of the nice things in the hobby is that you don't have to use any specific thing. It allows you to be creative. He's finishing his monocoque wing. His other plane, the Backfire on the Joker. We've had that on a video before. The Milt Graham Skunk Works. Anyway, Milt, I really hope you'll send some of these into to Stunt News. And hey, hope you're healing up from that accident, that unfortunate accident. All the best from Wendy and Karen. And unfortunately, tomorrow is one of the fun flies up at the club field. And we're hoping a lot of people will show up, of course, but unfortunately for us, we have house guests, and we probably won't be able to make it. Not sure we're going to be able to make it anytime this weekend, but it is fun. Karen's cousin is here from Arizona, and we've been just pulling over to B-25. He kind of enjoys modeling a little bit, and we've been looking at the books and talking World War II stuff and watching some B-25 videos. It's been a great weekend, and I hope we can get up to the club field for a little while this weekend anyway. Anyway, thanks to everybody for the photos. Always a good time sharing the world of stunt. Putting the last pieces together on the Z-Tron tape. I heard from Sergio that the units are ready. He has 5 ready, in fact, so we're going to take the first 5 people on the list. Let them know the Z-Trons are ready. We were hoping to have 20, but since Sergio is depending on other people for suppliers, he runs into the same thing I do, where you just don't always get everything you want. His leg is healing up just a little bit. Oh, he's putting, Karen, he looks a little bit better. He looks like he's putting a little bit of weight on the leg now, where we've had him to the vet. Was he got a waffle? Chicky. Oh, chickadilly. Story now. Mike has a brand new plane, never been flown. He thinks he's going to slither out to the field. He's here at 5:30 and start. He brings all his stealth stunt team here, and then we show up. Let's go look at the plane, baby.
With the blinkety blank.
This is Mike Cooper's new SV11. Car looks like he's got a windy carbon fiber. What do you got, a Tiger 60 in there, Mike?
PA-51.
PA-51 with a pipe?
With a muffler.
With a muffler, okay, cool. And a 12.4, 11.4, 12.4.
Mike, did you pull it yet? No. Let's give it a pull test. Let's do it.
Boy, is that confidence?
Wow.
Is that confidence in your building ability? See, we didn't even have our coffee yet, so we're still...
He wants to pull the bell crank out.
Here we go.
Let's wreck that first.
Here we go.
Let's leave it on the...
Hold it by the tail wheel and the spinner, Mike. Yeah, you'd hate to have a line snap or something. Oh, man.
I check all those things.
Yeah, this will show up well against the trees.
What is it? This is the...
Anyway, it is super early. We're here just to give Mike a hand.
Universal abuse? Is that what this is about?
I'm used to it. Around 9:30, 10 o'clock, that's when I become all black and blue.
You're black and blue already.
Pounding, you know.
Gee.
I told you though.
Let's dance, as they say. Let's dance.
That Jet
You think
51.
that you need to change? I had it.
Your jet, the 50?
I was
The 50.
Yeah.
picking it up.
Yeah.
It was breaking.
The Jet
But,
50.
You know, so
This wants to come off in nearly a clean two-stroke. Just as close to a clean two.
Yeah, you really can't run it like a
The
fox.
hit of verbal. It doesn't want to come off too foreign.
Did you bring something to fly, Tom?
Yeah, I brought the new Cardinal.
He's got the new Cardinal.
Here, if I want to get it out of...
How else can you get these guys up at 4 o'clock in the morning to come flying?
it started right up in my driveway.
Was it upright?
Just like this.
Mike, trust me, when the camera's on, nothing goes right. It's incredible.
Amazing.
Do you want to turn it over?
I don't know.
Now what, you got a Uniflow tube there?
7:34 today. I was here waiting for this guy to show up.
I don't know.
Let's turn it
Give
over.
it a little drink.
We just, yeah, give him some juice, Rich. Rich's repair is all set. He's got his new wheel pants, invisible wheel pants.
Yeah, but I don't have them on.
Today, windy.
Mike, the other thing is that this may well...
Is that the little muffler that comes from Randy? Or?
Yeah, it's the
Okay.
rear exhaust.
Here. You put a juice of that, a juice the juiced. You gotta teach him about juice the juiced.
Whoa.
Watch out now, baby.
Little fine.
Oh, yes, sir! Do these guys know what they're doing? Forget it. Look at this, there's cameramen everywhere. Brian shows up ready for the flight. Oh! Starting to look like we have too many cooks in the kitchen here. First flight of the SV11. June 2nd, 2002. Yeah, go right into the wing over there. Hell with the guys trimming your plane. Oh, he's got coraggio. Wing looks up a little bit inverted. Tom, did it look up a little inverted or not? Did it? I didn't see it. Right and up inverted, but it's only about a half an inch. You should go ahead and back for a couple of laps. Then you can really tell. Well, it's close. I mean, it's close enough to fly the plane. You don't have to. You don't have to worry. He's got some nonsense happening. Speed is about right. Tom, did that prop work good on your engine at a 12.4? Too much pitch? No luck with singers at all, ever. Okay, well that's an unbiased opinion. Wow. I have a bunch of carbon props. If he doesn't have the right prop, he can, give him a shot on that. Because it doesn't have the pipe. It'd probably need a little more pitch. Would be fine.
That's true. That one, the pipe ones all want 3.8 inches of pitch on the nose. No, don't even change it. That's
yeah.
But this is a muffler. You're right. It's not the same setup. This may want to be up at 4.2 or so.
You're right, though. You have the same exact noise. If nobody told you there was no pipe on there, you'd never know.
You'd think
never
it was
know.
a piped engine. Yeah.
In fact, if you made a little exhaust tube coming out further back, nobody'd know at all.
That's illegal like that.
Yeah, I want to see it inverted and 6 feet.
Inverted at shoulder height. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
But he's certainly not going to get hurt flying it.
No. It's close. If anything, and he's got a tab on the outside wing. I think that's standard for that plane.
Yeah, it is.
That's good. He can make a little adjustment right at the field.
He can make it a turn and a half on the crevice.
Tom, did you ask him if he had the hinge lines taped yet?
No.
Did he put doublers? Plywood doublers on here?
I don't know.
I think that's Randy's fuselage. Which
you'd have to ask him.
I don't know.
I don't know either. It works.
I know,
There were guys with 1,000 flights on that setup. I wouldn't have trusted it, but it works.
Drew says it's not a problem. Yeah, not a problem. And there's good carbon fiber between.
Now here's a problem, Tom. This is going leaner and leaner as you get into the flight. Big time. It's almost in a dead 2 cycle now. I don't know how he's got the tank set up, but now it's way too lean. Yeah. I mean, you should get out of it, Mike. Fly it lower. It's picking up speed. Does he have a Uniflow thing on there?
It's acting like he's got the plug on the vent line instead, on the Uniflow line instead of the vent.
Well, Ralph, being this is the first flight time, that may be a new tank, and the filter's now full of, it's going dead lean now.
It may be heating, too.
Yeah. No, you can't fly that. I mean, you're dead right now. I brought a spare tank if he needs one. These are all a new thing. Now, see, Mike ran this on the ground the other day, but I didn't hear him say he cleaned the filter. This is the reason we ground run the planes, or I do anyway, try to, is you want to avoid this exact thing that's happening to Mike.
Turn the it's a ghost! It's a ghost! Get it on film!
Oh my God,
it's the ghost of Flushing!
Oh no!
Wait, I have to touch the ghost. It's real! It's real! How are you? Hey. It's real!
I've been making so much money selling those Andy Lee CDs, I'm ashamed to face this man.
Welcome.
How you doing, Joel? Hey, Andy.
I came all the way.
You came all the way here to see this? You gotta be crazy.
Fly with the wrong hand. Fly with the right hand.
I don't know. Well, Mike, we need to address some problems here, so let me skip this out. We got guests from California here. We've had this guy on video before, and of course, the lettering is perfect. Of course, I'm not going to be a bigot about that. That looks great. Now, seriously, how long did it take you to do that lettering? How many hours?
A half hour of floundering by me and about 15 minutes by Wendy.
And bingo, it's done.
Yeah, and bing, it's done.
Now you have a 71?
Yeah, 72. I don't have the union nut, Andy.
I got a union nut. I got one in the car somewhere. I'll find it.
You need the custom.
You're gonna.
But this is my first attempt.
And he's made the flaps bigger than a standard kit would be.
What kind of a plane is
72.
that? Who the heck's designed the car?
So
How big are the flaps, Tom? You made them a half inch bigger?
It's wider at the root. They taper to the original cord. Oh, at about here. They're the
Okay.
original size. But
Well, you can see they're bigger.
Yes.
With 4-inch wood?
That's what you should have done with the Stukas. Make the
I had
flaps
the original flaps cut, and then Wendy and I got an email from Bill Netzband explaining why he thought the four-stroke still gives corner when it's nose heavy, because it
Guess we're gonna
grabs the
find out in
nose
about
for the
2 minutes,
corner
huh?
instead of having the airplane decelerate. So I thought, okay, if we've got the thrust to drive bigger,
Rich, flip that over. I wanna see the bottom.
corner, make the flaps bigger and get more corner.
Are you,
The next one.
are you glad you changed the canopy and made it longer, or?
That was.
I think it looks good.
That's not the way I heard it.
Now this is one of the glass cow. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
That's from Mike's mold. Okay.
Yeah,
That's
it's a
good.
glass cowl.
Yeah, that's fine.
So far, I left out a priming hole, but I thought if I need one, I'm not going to cut a hole in the top block. I'll just put a piece of pipe through here that points at the Venturi. So you have a priming spigot. You put
You're
the
better
syringe
off.
on it and
Yeah, you're better off not. If you need it, choke it.
just
Shoot
finger
them
on the
off.
exhaust.
Yeah, that'll flood it, but that'll make it go until you get it.
All right.
Oh, yeah, that's
What I
nice.
asked you was, what is the width here? 4 inches?
It's 7/16 wider than the plans. Whatever that is, I don't know the
So,
dimension.
so we're gonna have
when you
2 new
started out,
planes flying within a half an hour here. This is an amazing day.
I think it
I'm going home to get the B-25.
When?
What?
Another thing, I don't know if this is right either.
Oh, you made the little adjustment for
That's
this.
a throttle positioner.
Yeah.
You go in through the
Okay,
cooling hole
yeah.
and tighten the screw, and it wiggles the
For the
throttle
first
belt.
flight, run it wide open.
Yeah, I'm gonna. Well, first flight. I'm not. This is the first four-stroke I've ever owned, so we're gonna.
It's gonna fly right off the bench. You won't even. It'll be nothing. The tank is set 5/8 off the mounts.
Yeah.
It'll fly right off the. Right off.
But this is the one that you broke in for me, and we only
Yep.
got halfway. So
Run it rich one time. Run it 8 clicks
put a
out.
couple of tanks through it. I opened it to 3 1/4 for open, to start.
Yeah,
And we'll
yeah.
see where that goes.
Brian's good at hand flipping them too, boy. I just volunteered Brian. And no glove. He means an operating with no glove.
that
This is-
I lost it.
For the record, this is Brian Minot, a.k.a. Lefty,
Larry Scarinzi's flip boy.
a.k.a. Shorty.
All right, you got lines made already, Tom? Or?
It's ready.
Well, let's take
But I
a
wanna-
picture. Well, take it while the air is good, so we can.
No. We don't have to do anything. I want to get a setting, get the engine running, tack it upright and inverted, run a.
That's how I like it. Yeah.
I got
All right, then you're up, Rich.
Can I get a picture
of all you guys before?
Sure.
Yeah, let's get.
Who's gonna take? Let's get.
Joel wants the pictures before we
I gotta
fly.
Oh, wait.
I gotta bring it back to the club.
I think he's smarter. Priming this thing is what? Put the Uniflow plug on and give it an extra shower of fuel?
Put the Uniflow plug on and put your finger on the muffler for one flip.
That's all it takes.
Well, that's all. If there's fuel in there, that's all it takes.
Okay.
Totally off the repair that we did on video. We did this repair, if I remember right, on video. He's got the new landing gear. Remember how I emphasized you don't want to fly in grass with those landing gear that he had? So he's got a nice set of grass gear here. It lands real nice in the grass, and he's fixing up the wheel pants for the gnats. A good combination. Good tip, always tighten the prop with automotive wrenches. Big, mean automotive wrenches. Mike learned that lesson, boy. I remember tradition. Oh, there goes the spinner over the fence. Oh, there goes one out on the other side of the field. Well, with the 72s especially, you really have to tighten that prop down. Woody Midgley's flying his 72 now in that carbon fiber wing plane. He had his first day with a 4-stroke, Tom. He's selling all his Tiger 60s.
Is he real?
Maybe we can get him for $10 a piece or something.
Nah. I'm not thinking of that.
Oh, I never had a phone call from a guy that was happier. He was just ecstatic. He sounded like Mike Kajeski the day Miss Jamie took to the air for the second time. You ready to go, Mike?
No, not yet.
Okay, so the deal is you want to come just as close to breaking that shaft as you can.
Break it. You ain't gonna break it. It's steel.
All right.
It's going to pop now. Trust
Well,
me.
I got a little itsy-bitsy clearance problem here as to my plug, so we may be spitting glow drivers for a while, but that's okay. Yeah.
The V-Tron infrared control working pretty good now?
Bulletproof. The guy that invented it's supposed to be here
What do
today.
you have to do to change it? I mean, it's on your hat, right? But what do you have to
No, I'll show you the new one. It's on the B25. It's a pack of cigarettes.
And what do you do? Where is it on your hand that you make the
You
adjustment?
put it in your pocket when you're not using it. You ready? Take it out and go, zoop, like a VCR changer. That was 2 years in development. Couple $1,000 worth of development
How
time.
much
in that.
RPM change do you see? Or do you,
You're not a bad-looking guy at all.
The harassment has started, and who's the instigator? Rich?
He went ahead and shaved.
So what? Why don't you shave? Anyway, Mike's going to get a flight on his, this is Sato 72 Cardinal. This has just turned out to be a fabulous day. Windy as can be. Wind's blowing us all over the place, but everybody seems to be getting some flights. Whoa, look at that wind going, baby. It's like new plane day. We have 3 people with new planes that have never been flown. They have flown only once or twice. Anyway, what we're going to do when we end this session, since Joel Chesla's here from sunny California, we're going to head down to the house, let him knock the B25 off the table, get him a cup of coffee. It looks like he's tired. He's still on jet lag. Amazing how this, actually it's getting too windy to fly now. It's getting really windy. And when you have your good plane, let's see what they're doing over there. Brian's over on the other circle testing something. They're playing with the big cub on this circle. They haven't got it going yet. Poor Mikey. Oh, Mikey! I think we're at the end of the flying the good plane time of the day. Joel wants to cap off his video by, even though we had a good day at the field here, the wind blew us off the circle, but Chicky's gonna bite him. Bite him, Chicky.
No, he's scratching.
Oh, Chickadooly, you gotta, when you come from California, you gotta go right for the throat.
Smile for the camera. Go
Come on, Chicky.
Smile for the camera.
You come all the way from California, bird poops on you, huh?
Smile for the camera.
No, I really hope that Joel enjoyed his visit here, you know, being part of our life, sharing our life with the guys in California. And one of our favorites, Mr. I'll have another donut, Bob Palmer. Bob, I hope you get to see this video too someday. Anyway, and by the way, send me a Thunderbird. I don't have one. I'll put that up in my Spitfire bedroom, no problem. I know you love those elliptical wings like I do.
Joel gave me I guess, a t-shirt from his club, the Knights of the Round Circle, which we'll obviously wear that from time to time. But one of the things I had, Tom Hampshire had made up for me, is a bunch of different prop nuts that simulate the Hamilton standard nose on the B25. That's one of the other little additions that we're going to do on this. Before actually we probably won't have the tanks back this week. We need to get the bladders back from Dub, and then we're going to make up the 2 tanks for this, and then we'll do another series of bench running. But in the meantime, flying weather's here, and we can only use, and the problem is, we can only use the field now, the grass field at the circle burners. So, what that does, it limits us now, and I'm glad we have the gear that we made up for, which Richard has now too, for the, the pavement, for the gnats or whatever. But we also have our grass gear. We're going to put them on, and we'll probably be up the field in the next couple of days, starting to practice for the Brodac contest, get a couple of flights on this. We're planning on flying this at Brodac's, introducing it to the world of competition, and seeing how the carbon fiber wing holds up, whether it's going to break in service, somebody will wind up squeezing it or something, we're not sure yet. But I do have the gear made up, and I'll change them off camera, but having them set, that we have a set of pavement gear and a set of gear for flying off grass. Well, at Brodac's, I don't know if we're going to be flying off grass or flying off pavement, so, but we'll be bringing both of them out there with us. Hope you're enjoying and sharing the videos with everybody. Share the great hobby that we've all come to love and enjoy together. Boy, the weather report is for nice weather for the next couple of days. I hope they're not lying. That adds a nice little detail touch, one we've been waiting for. One little piece at a time, this puppy's coming together. One little piece. We still have guns to make. I'm sure Les is going to make them for us too. 4 more guns to make. A couple other little details, and of course we want to get, the main thing is the tanks. And I hope this week we'll have the parts to start manufacturing them. In today's mail, I got something really cool here. This is from Craig Bartlett. Nice labels too, I like them. Anyway, he's sending me something that's really cool now. Of course, I got the flyer. He got a t-shirt with Paul Walker's new Mustang on it. Cool, 911 little insignia from the regionals. Hey, and I'll make sure I wear this when I launch Paul, if he lets me launch his plane. We'll find out. Let's see if he knows I'm XL. Oh, I'm so complimented when people don't send me an XL. Anyway, I'm checking out this video. Now, some of this footage I've seen, the float planes I've seen, but there's some stuff on here that's really cool. As I'm doing the shop work here, I'm watching this video. There's a lot of footage I haven't seen here. This is. You may want to contact Greg and get a copy. This is the first flight of this guy's seaplane. Oh no! Oh! That's the part I don't want to see. Anyway, what I was thinking about, boy, if we lived by a field like this, I would love to do an SB6. What a project that would make. Anyway, this is a great video. And I want to thank Craig again. I'm going to send him out some B-25 videos. This is the part we all hate to see, especially when, a plane like this, the very unique models, doing a very unique thing. They all have throttle control, I'm assuming. Looks like he may have carbon fiber floats here or something. Pretty neat stuff. Well, if we get to the end of this tape, I may put a couple minutes of this on, but you could contact Craig, find out if I'm not sure if he's selling this tape or loaning it to me or what, but
Off and ready to roll.
one cool model. Ooh. Now these guys have this dedicated field where they can fly like a seaplane. I think Bill Young and Fred Cronwood, they had sent me a video on this a while back. Really cool stuff. See, we don't have a field like that, so and obviously where our field is, we're not going to be able to make one, but this is a heck of a model. I'm just thinking with Dave Downey and Joe already working on that Hawk project, thinking about the possibilities, and boy, that's unbelievable. And as I'm watching this, there's just a myriad of neat things on this video. Oh, so it might be a little tail heavy. Oh, he's got it up. Okay. Yeah, it looks a little tail heavy, but hey.
imagine an SB6, a stunt ship, a plane that would do the full stunt pattern with a Z-tron, and you could land it in the water. Would that be cool? See, the thing is, you'd have no competition that way, because nobody else is, unless you get a group of guys that they have a field like this. It's pretty special stuff. I really, so the thing that impresses me the most when somebody thinks outside the box, they don't do the traditional thing that everybody else is doing, and oh, I'll just paint the leading edge red and I'll be special this year. Oh, he's got the throttle going. This to me, it just looks a little tail heavy here. You can't see what kind of motor he's got in here, but anyway, there's people all over the world doing interesting things with models. Oh! He's got my full attention. I got to put this on. We're going on it. Sergio Zegras and I last night, as I'll interrupt the video, got together, and we have the first production Z-trons ready to deliver to the customer. And I'll show one of those kits up close in case somebody out there really wants one right away. He only had 5. He ordered 20, and only 5 came in from the manufacturer. There's a guy in California that's doing all the chip work. So, but we do have 5, and any that we don't sell, we'll bring to Brodax. All right. Oh man, standing ovation. All right, fantastic. This is what, it even comes in a nice box. Sergio's got these boxed in exactly the size the video would be. The problem is the video doesn't fit in the box like we originally anticipated when Sergio ordered the boxes. But this is a production. This is the way they're going to come from now on. There's no soldering. There's no wire connectors. There's nothing that's left to your imagination. Here's the right charger. Charges the transmitter and the receiver at the same time. Here's the production one that has the light, and so you can bang that, put it in your pocket, you hit the keys, nothing happens to the laser emitters. When you're using it, this turns it on, this gives you your throttle response. And these are the boxes. We did these down in the shop, I don't know, a couple of months ago, a month ago maybe. But they're all set. There's complete instructions. And of course, the thing that matters, the part that goes in the plane, is basically already in one piece. You don't even have to snap the wires together. How cool is that? And let's see if the battery's charged. Yeah, the battery. Look at this. You take it out of the box. Now these kits, I should say, exactly as they are, these are available right now, and I have a sinking feeling that they're not going to be available forever, because when I price out some of the components, and I've already done this, and then I factor in what my labor would be to put one of these together, the fact Sergio's charging $199 for these is I think he's not going to want to make these a year from now. He's going to say, oh no, too much work. So if somebody really does want one, comes with the video with all the how to do it, how to install it in a profile, in a plane. It's something that we waited a long time to have production turnkey. They're $199.95 plus shipping, and that's the way it comes. You push the button, then you have throttle control. You just need to figure out how you want to install it in the plane. That's a long time coming. I'm really glad we got them.
just forced myself to lock my wrist.
Yeah.
That seems to help. So.
Well, you got a water landing, and I wish I'd have set up on it better, but you came down and got it, so
Yeah, I figured
it's the important
it
thing.
was beginning to. Okay.
I know you can do it.
Huh?
I know you can do it.
Thank you.
Yeah, it looks great in the air.
Does it? I wish I could get lower, but it's still not comfortable.
Well, you know what? I think if you can, now that you got some flights in, get the handle trimmed out. Get it so you can do the low speed really consistently with it.
Right.
Because once you get the motor slowed down,
It's more stable.
It's motor stable. It's coming in smooth, and you'll be able to do some beautiful touch and goes with it.
Yeah, it's a major learning curve on this. I've never done this before.
Yeah. Well, it's a lot of firsts. You know, you got a nice scale ship, and you've got throttle control, and it's a flute plane.
Yeah. Yeah, it's.
Well, you got it flown. That's it. Beautiful. Now, you made me jealous. I'm going to have to finish my S6B to come out and fly against you next year.
Let's go 60.
There you go.
Craig's pushing for it. Let's go 60. Rewrite the rules.
Yeah, well, we can. I mean, there's nothing that really says we can't. We're the rule writers.
It is a matter of. I wanted as much horsepower as that puppy would stand.
Oh, yeah. Well, you got power to spare. I mean, it'll fly at a quarter throttle.
But I was able to start working my throttle, and I felt better about that and then locking here, and I was working here, and I felt better that I could lock it.
Yeah.
And I got a couple smooth moves,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I'm not Mr. Smooth yet.
That'll come.
No more seat time, huh?
off right in front of you there. Right, no, there's Great landing.
Stop it.
thank Craig again for that video, but that was great. And that's the kind of thing I like to have playing in the background while I'm working on this project here. We have really, and I don't mean maybe, I've really been thinking about all the possibilities here with the taxiing and that scale video. You know, it just makes me think. The seaplanes, I like that I think it's an S6B or SB6, I'm not sure. I'm not into that kind of nomenclature where I know every little thing, but I know it's the racing British seaplane. And one of the things I thought of was, well, we have a scale contest coming up in the fall that's going to be on tar. It'd be fun just to bring them out and let them fly. Now, Walt Brownell is another guy that has all these great, I don't know what to call it. He's got the combination of good stunt technology and scale planes. And we're looking forward to seeing his DC-3. I hope he's going to have it at Brodex. But I'm just thinking how many unusual, cool things there are in the world of modeling. Now that Zetrons are finally on the market, I expect by next year's Nats we'll see more and more of them on some pretty unusual planes. It offers one more choice to a world of modeling that you have thousands of good choices. The B-25 Silver is in stock at Brodex. We're ready to ship it if anybody's looking to get their first. I've already got an order from Bill Hummel for some before it even hits the market. It's sold, and that's the way we always hope things work out. Anyway, we are getting ready from this point in the video on. There's a couple of things to do around the shop to get ready for Brodex. Get the car all packed up, and then this weekend we're going to just kind of chill out because Tuesday of next week we're going to be packing and heading out to Brodex. Anyway, we're near the end of the video. I hope you've enjoyed sharing it with us. Please share it with your friends, but for all means, I hope, well, the next videos you'll get if you're a subscriber are going to be the Brodex videos. So even if you can't be there, you can be there, if you know what I mean. And probably right after Brodex, we'll be getting the tanks from Dub. And we'll be aggressively looking for an excuse to get these engines run and get them running right so we can fly this guy. We have really been straining at the bit, to tell you the truth, but I know all the planning that went into this and all the time. I sure wouldn't want to risk it for anything less than the best I'm able to get out of the engines. And I hope you enjoyed that footage from Craig and from Fred Cronwet, Bill Young. Those guys have a great group out there. I wish I lived where I could. Now, can you imagine? I'm just thinking, can you imagine making a stunting S6B? I mean a full stunt one, head floats. Not something that's a compromise. Just things to dream about, things to think about in the future. And the Hawk project. I shouldn't forget the Hawk project. Joe's already cutting wood. He got some quarter-grain wood for me, so I know he's cutting wood out there. And I hope he'll keep us posted on how that project's going. And we will definitely see you after Brodex on the next set of tapes. And thanks for joining us.